Yeah, afternoon. Obviously, that is one of our top priorities that we have at the moment. Look, he has bowled since we've started our camp in Canterbury. Yeah, obviously, with regards to the workload, I would think that's maybe the biggest concern, whether he can carry himself throughout a Test match. With the intensity and obviously the volume of overs in a day's play. So yeah, for now he's doing all the right things. I can't say yes or no as yet because there is 8 days out, 9 days out before we play the first test, and yeah, but he's high on our list to get him fit and going and giving us more resources going into the first test. Yeah, good for them. They've obviously taken a few risks along the way, and it's paid off. I think conditions had a massive role to play with regards to that kind of style of cricket. So yeah, I'm not too concerned about the way they've gone about their things of late. For me, the biggest thing for me is to focus on my squad and my team that I have. So yeah, it's been an interesting style and obviously caused a few conversations around the world around the way they've been playing. But yeah, I'm not too concerned around that. I would think the appointed captain is possibly easier. I think the road that leads into that test match, you've got a little bit more control and you can arrange things accordingly, and you can almost give the players more time and giving them more love going into that test match. So yeah, maybe the easier alternative would be another person's way of going about this, but I'm more of the want the responsibility around that. I'd like to think what we've created over the last year and what I've learned over the last year of captaining in international cricket has given me a lot more resources going into the series. So yeah, it's an interesting question. It's actually a pretty good question because I'm sure the one would have just said, yeah, the easy option is the route that they would choose, but I'm not that inclined. Yeah, I mean, Temba's injury has been a massive setback for all formats for us. In Test cricket, he's been brilliant for us in that number 4, number 5 spot, and obviously to replace him, what he's achieved in the last year is something that I don't think we should look too much into, just purely because of the personnel that we have. We have 3 guys that are obviously up for that option in Aiden Markram, Rasif van der Dussen, and Kaya Zondo. So yeah, it's an interesting one because the conversations we're having are very much around that as well. Whether we're going for the experience factor of having guys that's been around that environment or been around the Proteas environment playing Test cricket as a resource, or if we're going to go with a guy that's extremely inexperienced at Test cricket and almost giving him the go-ahead into that test. But yeah, we still have quite a few days out until that decision has to be made. But the good thing is we do have resources going into that. Yeah, I think those options are brilliant for us. I think we're ticking the boxes in the right nature. Having guys played county cricket here now and actually done pretty well in those games they've played is a massive asset for us going into this test series, just from a experiencing the conditions point of view, to also giving us a little bit more feedback on how the ball's been swinging or how the ball's been reacting. So having that's been good. And then another thing, we got white ball batters that have had a pretty successful series or tour so far. They've got a lot of confidence coming into this, and it's almost like a breath of fresh air having those guys come in, just knowing that they've done pretty well in the last month in playing here. So yeah, a lot of resources, a lot of options, a lot of info that we can use to try and best prepare and give the guys the right options going into the series, Ken. Yeah, I mean, those options are there for us to use, and it's whether we want to use them or not. I'm very much inclined to have those guys around. They experienced cricketers in their own careers, and they're vastly experienced in county cricket. And I mean, the numbers that they've put out over the last few years is something that we can use to our advantage. I think there's obviously the one advantage of them having played here for so long is that we need to use those guys. It would be stupid if we don't use them, even if they don't potentially play. They're great for the change room, just from an information point of view. Yeah, firstly, great to have Anna back. He's going to miss a little bit with injury over the last year. But the way he's bowling in the nets and the way he bowled in the white ball game now is big for us. He brings a whole different aspect of pace to the table, and in the UK, if you have those kind of assets, you need to use them in best way you see fit. Yeah, and obviously the England they've got their older players, but immensely experienced, and they know these conditions inside out. So yeah, I'm pretty sure we're going to be up against them, and we've been preparing accordingly. And yeah, hopefully everything we do so far is going to lead us into a good space. Sure, I think the biggest thing with Ryan is that he was given opportunity. The guys weren't there. I've felt he took the opportunity with both hands. Purely just out of what he's done in the county circuit so far over the last 2 months of him playing for Northamptonshire has been a massive confidence booster towards him as a cricketer, and obviously the way we view him now as a lot stronger candidate to potentially hold his own position within the side. But again, a lot of chats will still be had, and yeah, we need to obviously finalise our top five. But yeah, we have time, luckily. But yeah, I'd like to think that Rix has done everything the right way. He's put the numbers on the board. He's done everything to give the selectors a bit of a headache, but it's actually a good headache to have if you have guys coming in and contributing the way he has. And yeah, I think him playing county cricket has obviously given him a lot of confidence coming into this series. And yeah, again, another asset for us as a squad. Well, hopefully that doesn't continue. Trust me, it's I've said this in the past in presses where it's not our intention to start slowly, but it's my job and responsibility to make the players aware of our shortfalls potentially that we've had in the past. And I've made them aware that starting slow against the tough opposition away from home is clearly not the game plan going forward. But in saying that, we have tried to use the time that we've had. We have had some specialist guys in Canterbury for 2-3 days extra until the white ball guys join us for our camp. So we've had a camp leading up to that, and for me it's about the preparation, giving the guys options so that they are best prepared, so that they can prepare physically and mentally towards what's going to be a really tough series, but not looking too far ahead. I know how important it is to start well against a tough side in their home conditions. So yeah, the conversations are ongoing, and as long as I'm here, those conversations won't stop. But again, I need to make those players aware of that. The coaches have made the players aware of that again. Just this morning in our conversations we've had in our respective meetings. But yeah, starting slow is not an option because playing catch-up cricket is not easy in Test cricket. We might get away with that maybe at home, where we know the conditions a lot better. But when you're touring, you can't start slowly. I'm very much mindful and aware of that. I don't think we'll ever get to the 2012 team because all those guys are retired, and what they've achieved in the UK over that period is what legends are made of. But it's a great reference point for us, but we can't focus on that. We need to focus on what we can focus on. So yeah, I'm not reading too much into that. Sure, we didn't have a very good time of it last time we were here. I was on that tour. But again, we didn't start very well, and you need to somehow get momentum on your side going into a series like this. So yeah, hopefully we've given the guys the best resources so far for them to prepare physically and mentally going into the series. Yeah, the past it's great learnings for some guys, but also in saying that it's not fair for us to reflect on what the guys have achieved here in the past or not achieved in the past. We're a totally new squad. I'd like to think we're a lot hungrier to do well in the UK because it is a great place to play Test cricket. And I know the successes that come by doing well, yeah, it goes so far for a lot of guys in their careers. So yeah, it's a great learning references, don't get me wrong, but focusing on my squad, pretty young squad, but a pretty successful squad so far in the last year is what stands out for me. To touch on the first part, look, I think the biggest thing with playing Simon and Kesh together in Bangladesh was giving us more resources and options coming to the UK and further tours going ahead. Again, those are resources that we need to keep and we need to use if the conditions allow it. It's by no means off the table that they might start again. So yeah, it was just about broadening our squad depth and giving us the best kind of option and way going into a series, because I think we've kind of like negated the spin and the seam options for us now, and we're pretty confident and we're in a very good space. So yeah, by no means off the table, don't get me wrong, but there could be the other option as well of playing 4-1 potentially. Yeah, the second question, it's look, we've had a really tough time with regards to what we've been through the last year or two with regards to touring, and I for one is very happy to not be confined to a hotel or your room or just your team room. The luxury is now in the UK where the COVID rules and regulations are a lot more relaxed to what we used to is brilliant for us. Just going to a restaurant now just gives the guys a little bit more freedom, and yeah, I think it's about giving those guys, putting those guys in a better mental space, and allowing them the freedom and responsibility to still be a human being. So yeah, it's great to be able to walk around in the streets now with no masks on and kind of be back to civilization and being human again.